starring Darth David and Jedi Jared. And something dawned on me, Jared.
What has dawned on you, David?
This is my second podcast in a row that I'm doing today.
All right.
And the first one was quite intense, enthusiastic. It's the Eastside Davidson Wrestling Show podcast.
Okay.
Nationally syndicated on Beasley Media, by the way, B-Pod Studios or wherever you get your podcasts. But the point being, I'm hearing footsteps. Stan, go get that. Today's been the busiest day of all time.
Really?
And there's been no less now than 3 neighbors who are genuinely concerned that I've lost the deep end and or are screaming at people constantly. Customer service reps, they think I'm screaming at my children. They believe I'm screaming at the various neighbors.
Whoa.
Flat. Bring it in. The pizza's got to be flat, though. My good boy, my good little Padawan had that pizza, and he was letting the thing tilt a little bit. So the point is,
and the cheese slides off.
My poor neighbors have been now listening to me scream at full volume for a good 2.5 hours straight.
You know, Dave, maybe it'd be a good idea around Christmas time to get all your neighbors, all 3 of them, a nice bottle of wine.
I thought you were going to say have a move. I thought you were going to say gather them up and make them disappear. That's what a Sith would do. Hey, listen, I make Jedi disappear for a living, bro. I make people disappear. I blow up planets. You think the lady upstairs is going to keep me down?
Very
keep
nice
my
lady.
mojo down? I'm
nice.
a Sith, baby, but I'm a Sith who likes to bring it. I'm a Sith who loves to dance, who loves to sing, who loves to party. We Sith that party, a Sith that party. Anyway, that's what I like to do. I'm a happy-go-lucky Sith.
I'm aware of that.
See, when Jared and I are in New Jersey, we're from New Jersey. A lot of people who don't live in New Jersey don't realize that New Jerseyans are actually loudest when we're happy. It's a very weird, odd thing. Usually usually a guy in the Midwest, some nice gentleman from Toledo, Ohio, ooh, that was a nice cup of coffee there, Mom. Mom, that was a good cup of coffee. Good job there. But when you're from New Jersey and you're happy, you're like, that was awesome cocoa! This cocoa's the shit! This is the best cocoa I've ever tasted! That's kind of what you do. Well, not if you're Jedi Jared, but if you're Darth David, you do. And you grew up in my neighborhoods and around the people I grew up with and the mother I grew up with who's just as Sithish. Then you kind of,
Lord Beanie?
Lord Beanie. I mean, I love her. I'm not saying she's evil. I'm saying Sithish in terms of fun, loud, but other people would, when they walk, this has been going on since I was a child. Our house in Spring Lake, New Jersey, we don't live there anymore, but for 30 years, the house was across the street from St. Catherine's Church, literally across the street.
Oh, that's super
I also
convenient.
lived across the street from priests and nuns. I know. I grew up Catholic. You grew up Jewish, yes?
Yes.
We all know this. This you would think, this is going to be nice and fun. No, it worked out badly for everyone. For the priests, I actually got cursed out when I threw water balloons at their cars. And they would drive this old, beaten-up Buick, and Darth David would have a bunch of water balloons. And what really ticked them off is when I started to evolve in my water balloon war.
Turned into piss?
Ketchup.
Oh.
Ketchup and or mustard. I wasn't that evil. I was like 8 or 9. But can you imagine an 8 or 9-year-old having no problem with throwing water balloons at priests or nuns' cars? And literally, it wasn't like anything like, should I do this? Should I not? It was like, I can't wait. Here he comes. Here comes Monsignor Lube King. That was the guy in charge of the parish.
What's his name?
The guy's name. I'm not making this up. People who went to St. Catherine's Parish in Spring Lake, New Jersey in the late 80s through the mid to late 90s would know that the guy in charge, the main priest, everyone has a Monsignor.
Yes.
It was Monsignor Lube King. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay. A hell of a last name to be a Catholic priest.
But my point is, since I was 9 or 10, people have been walking past our house on their way to church, wondering, why is that house always so loud? Not just me either. My mom, she likes to sing, you know, there's no business like show business I know.
Yes.
Had to hear that. You know, my dad likes the Nat King Cole, so he was doing a, you know, I just always thought it was kind of like a Chewbacca the Wookiee type of attempt at an impersonation. And then you got Little Dave, man, Darth David, who is one of the loudest children of all time. Okay. +5 for me. Because that's energy and passion and enthusiasm. -5 for you.
What about your brothers? Were they as loud as you were?
No. Not one single one of them. Well, my brother Wally can be loud-ish at times, but even him, not really. No. No. And my brother Mark, we call him Ted Kaczynski.
Oh, Uncle Ted.
Quiet, lives in the woods, and we just try not to bother him because he will blow you up. Okay. And your family. Wally, 6'5", and he's just like, let's just not mess with him because he's big.
Fair enough. The question then I have is, because I'm Jewish, and we should get...
+5 for you.
Oh, wow.
What did you think? I was going to be some sort of creep?
No.
Some sort of anti-Semite?
So, when you threw
Is that how you pronounce it?
Anti-Semite.
Okay, I always read the word, but I never know how to... Certain words I always read and don't know how to pronounce.
So, the question I have then, and then we'll get
I thought the guy's name was Han Solo for a long time. Until someone said, it's Han Solo, you stupid moron. I shouldn't have read the book first. Now, go ahead. I'm sorry. You're Jewish. I'm Catholic.
So
you're a Jedi. I'm a Sith. Polar opposites.
Yes. What I was going to get to is you were about 8 or 9 when you were throwing these water balloons.
Yes, I was.
Did you have to do that in confession when you were right around the time getting your communions?
Oh, I would confess all of the hijinks I played on the nuns and priests.
So none of the
priests... I got loopy on wine one time, which is real. It's that's kind of, you're starting to now get in on the verge of a sin, an actual sin. But Monsignor Lupking or Father Roberts or Father Williams, they were all just, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And there was all these little tiny, secret passageways. It's very... I'll tell you the one thing that's fun about being an altar boy, because I was an actual altar boy at the Catholic Church. A Catholic Church is very much like Da Vinci Code. You open a thing, there's a staircase, and there's a door somewhere, and there's something. And this isn't New Jersey. It's not like it's Rome, where you probably do need, trapdoors going back to the Middle Ages. Okay. But even still, there's, all weird Middle Ages and paintings and stuff. I like that aspect of it. I don't go to church anymore. Well, I do. I like it on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
But I just because I like the smell of the candles, for the most part. Anyway, listen. It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars time.
Let's talk.
Now, last week, I destroyed you for failing me yet again.
Okay.
The new show that I admittedly found out about on Rebel Force Radio was Icons Unearthed.
Yes.
On Viceland.
So I downloaded...
I watched every episode. There were 6 episodes, and this is the true telling of the first 6 Star Wars movies, and it's a true telling that has no participation with Disney. So they got a lot of people. Now, they got some people who actually crossed over into the ILM doc. That's why I think it's interesting timing. You got the ILM doc on Disney Plus, Light and Magic over here. And then you got the Icons Unearthed over here. You got Richard Edlund and John Dykstra. But most notably, Marsha Lucas. Marsha Lucas, George's then wife, now ex-wife, who edited the movies and also really helped build ILM, the physical ranch itself. All right, take away.
So
Icons Unearthed, 6 episodes. Take away, please. All 6.
I watched only one because...
Whoa, what?
Hear me out. I am incredibly cheap. I don't have cable. I'm a millennial, so we don't have cable.
A millennial.
I downloaded the Vice app on my Roku.
Keep going.
And
I'm just getting something. Not a big deal.
Okay. I download the Vice app, and it's behind the paywall.
Yeah, you download the Vice app, did you?
I did not.
You download the Vice app? You're gonna watch Icons Unearthed, you stupid jerk. You're gonna watch Icons Unearthed.
Okay.
Tell the Yaddle heads you're gonna finish it.
I'm gonna finish it. Dave's gonna give me his password to his Verizon account, and I'm gonna finish it.
I don't even know the password myself, so that would be impossible.
I think I probably have an idea. I'm not going to give it away to the fans, and then they...
Oh, I would love to know. I would love to know what your guess is.
We'll discuss that off air. So,
all right. So,
I watched the first episode, and I thought it was incredibly interesting. They do a lot of some of the rehashing stuff from the ILM documentary, but I love the talk about Brian De Palma because
De Palma's great.
it actually, if you ever did you see the documentary on John Milius?
It's called not Milius. Yet. And I do like John Milius, who of course wrote the screenplay to Apocalypse Now and many other things. But go ahead.
All these guys are friends. We've gone over this. The USC for Brian De Palma was in the Milius documentary. They talk about how Brian De Palma was the guy who came up with the idea for the scroll.
Right.
At the beginning of Star Wars. And it's funny, I didn't realize, how much they were, doing, because apparently De Palma was now casting for Star Wars and Carrie simultaneously doing his buddy a solid.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I'll tell you, you learn some great stuff. Here's something that I learned in the, okay, so I do hate you.
Okay.
Hate you so much
for
not having seen the other 5 episodes. All 6 are great.
I'm sure they're
great.
I'm sure they are.
Damn it! But I'll say, now having seen 6 episodes, and incidentally, there's 6 episodes in Light and Magic, the Disney Plus one. I still love. I still really prefer the Light and Magic, just by a little bit, even though it's more of a Disney thing, and you would think that it was more of a propaganda thing. I didn't see it as that. I saw it as a realistic telling of the story of ILM without Marcia Lucas. That omission was big. Outside of that,
this is what I don't understand. How does that work if George is completely out of the picture, right? How does that work where they just completely edited her out? Was that part of the contract between George and Disney?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Because
you're saying, since George is no longer technically involved in Star Wars,
it's not his property. He doesn't own it.
Was it Disney's call to cut Marcia Lucas out of the ILM doc? Because that I don't know.
She's not in the documentary.
Maybe it was Disney, though. Maybe it's Kathleen Kennedy, who I'm sure, co-produced, said, listen, we screwed this guy over by butchering, apparently there were Jedi grandkids and this and that, and we took the sequel story away from him, and we kind of, just said, oh, yeah, thanks, George, but no thanks, we're going to do the sequels on our own, and then everyone hated ours. So, if you notice, to me, since about 2020, there has been a conscious Disney, we love George, George is here, George will always be around type PR movement.
They have, because
there's a reason why you're seeing George always invited to the Mandalorian sets and the Book of Boba Fett sets and this and that. And it's not just to be nice to George, it's to get a picture that George Lucas is holding baby Grogu to say George Lucas sponsors this. Of course, it's the photo op. It's the whole premise. But why I like the Light and Magic one, I felt the production was a little better. I also don't like this new trend where there's someone who narrates. You see it in the Netflix documentary, The Toys That Made America or whatever. And it's a trend that I've noticed. In fact, I think even the Rebel Force Radio guys picked up on it one time, and it bothers me as well.
What about the narrators?
When they talk for 5 seconds, and then it's like, and then George went to, and he's like, I went to the Skywalker Ranch in order to have I was gonna have a beer, and the last thing that happened was, so we wanted to make Return of the Jedi, but that was a problem because, we didn't have enough money. And it's like, stop it! Narrators narrate!
Yes.
They don't do 5-second word interjections.
It'd be like a dial.
Oh my God! It's like, am I watching something real or am I watching a Ren and Stimpy cartoon? Just voices popping and up and down.
I think they do that to add a certain amount of humor, to.
We don't need it. That I'll say this: that time for this documentary series, I actually thought that style did not fit. I really did. And the guy who actually was the narrator was in Return of the Jedi because he referenced himself towards the end. He was the first Imperial, like, lieutenant or pilot, or not pilot, like, general or whatever, that Vader meets when he gets to the Death Star at the very beginning of Return of the Jedi. When he's like, you need to, the guy's like, we should double our efforts. Remember? Oh, we shall double our efforts. The Emperor's coming here. We shall double our efforts. Remember, he's all scared? Remember?
Yeah.
That's the guy who narrated it. I thought, though, one thing that I loved about Icons Unearthed that I did not know was that for episode, and this is episode 6 in Icons Unearthed, and obviously episode 3 in Star Wars, for Revenge of the Sith, George Lucas knew that Obi-Wan versus Anakin needed to be absolutely epic. Needed to be the best thing that Star Wars maybe could ever provide. So I did not know this. He called in Steven Spielberg. And Spielberg truly, it seemed, according to that documentary, Spielberg laid it all out. Spielberg essentially...
Oh, I thought it was for episode...
storyboarded and everything. The whole... No, Anakin versus Obi-Wan in episode 3.
I had been under...
Lava, all that stuff, that was all Spielberg. The sets.
Really?
The fighting on those little things. Him going up on the hill. I've got the higher ground. That's all Steven Spielberg. Lucas called in the heavy hitter.
I was under the impression he had been brought in as a consultant for episode 2. That there were a lot of problems with it. And...
Listen, George and Steven are close. I'm sure George asked Steven's input on all of the prequel movies. I'm sure that happened. But he literally storyboarded and planned out and essentially directed Obi-Wan versus Anakin. That's awesome!
That is awesome.
That changes that. As soon as we're done with Yaddle Chattle, I gotta go and watch Revenge of the Sith. I'll tell you that much right now.
Well, speaking of Revenge of the Sith, I finally was able to catch up and see the last, 4 episodes of season 5 of the Clone Wars.
Oh!
The ones that you...
I love it.
You are right that it is, as an independent story arc, probably one of the best story arcs that they put out so far on that show.
I love it.
I will say there's this one thing I just don't understand, which was
controversy. Watch out.
Why
I'm getting my point subtractor ready. By the way, my point subtractor machine.
The guy they got to voice
minus 9 points. The guy they got to voice Palpatine.
Well, hold on, just hear me out.
That's the same. That's Sam Witwer.
Yeah. So Sam Witwer was very good throughout the
Maul.
series.
He does Maul.
Yes.
Oh wait, did Sam Witwer also do Palpatine for Clone Wars? I think he might have done Palpatine for Rebels. All right, go ahead.
Whoever they got to play Palpatine for like the majority of the series was really great. He sounded just like him. However, for some reason, they just switched over to Tim Curry. And Tim Curry becomes the voice of Palpatine during that arc, and so far, the first couple of episodes of season 6. And Tim Curry's amazing in everything he does.
You know, that's funny. I don't remember that. But I do know that. I did remember that, hearing that Tim Curry did the voice. See, I know a bunch of the people who do the voice and this and that, but I don't get obsessed with who does all the voices.
Oh, I don't get obsessed with all the voices. I just found it strange.
It is strange
that they got someone who was doing it very well that sounded like Ian, but went to someone drastically different in Tim Curry. I mean, you can tell what Tim Curry sounds like.
All right,
and it takes me out of it.
That's
just
a good
little
point.
Bit because I know what Tim Curry sounds.
This happened in the arc, the last 4 episodes.
The last 4 episodes of the Ahsoka arc, and then so far what I've watched, the first the death of Fives in season 6.
But that aside, what do you think of?
It's excellent.
Excellent.
And
good enough to make a movie.
I think so. Yes.
Push them together and release them as a movie, and do the same thing with the last 4 episodes of season 7. You guys got 2 movies. You don't have to do anything with them. Just push them together and release them, and you're gonna get some free money. Doesn't Disney like free money? You want a free $100 million? I'm not going to say it's going to break the bank and get $1 billion. You'll get $100 million out of Star Wars fans.
I'm sure what Disney Plus is probably going to do is, as they get closer to the Ahsoka series, they'll probably release like an Ahsoka collection of special episodes
I agree with
from
that.
the Clone Wars.
I agree. Give myself 5 points with that. I agree with that one.
But I thought, I thought it was excellent. I think that they kind of set everything up. It'll be interesting what they do with what was it, Barriss Offrey.
Yeah, I mean Barriss. He I believe he comes back.
She.
But no, wait a second. No, Barriss I don't think comes back.
Barriss.
Whatever. You're talking about the yellow one who
Yeah.
turned out to blue was the one who actually blew up and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember if she's back or not.
I
don't think she is.
I would hope they bring her into an Ahsoka series then.
Oh,
That would be pretty
that could
cool.
happen. Because I don't think that she came back for 6 or 7. I think she went away. She went bye-bye at the
Okay.
end. All right, a little controversy just happened Wednesday, I want to say, which is that Rian Johnson did an interview, the director of The Last Jedi, and we've talked about The Last Jedi many times here on Yaddle Chattle. I enjoy The Last Jedi. I like it. Didn't think Luke should have died at the end. That was literally the only change, though, that I would make. It's not like I'm out here making this change, that change, the other. So I like the movie, but it has tons of detractors. Regardless, Rian Johnson said he would not change a thing.
Of course.
He stands by the story. He stands by the script. He stands by the movie.
Well,
Thoughts and opinions of Rian Johnson.
Maybe-
Doubling down on The Last Jedi, baby.
Well,
Right behind me. There it is. Last Jedi, right there.
who knows what will happen? Maybe time will tell what the general public will say its legacy is. People may say, "Oh yeah, it was a great movie," or he may have to eventually. It might be considered one of the least liked Star Wars films, and he may have to pull a George Clooney and Batman and Robin and apologize for it.
Listen, you're either going to do that or the one way. I like the movie, but I think that there was a lot.
A lot of fucking props.
A lot of issues. He didn't need to do a Game of Thrones red wedding, because if you think about it, he axed Snoke, the main bad guy of the sequel trilogy. He axed Captain Phasma, the new Boba Fett of the sequel trilogy, and he axes Luke Skywalker, the greatest Jedi in the galaxy. That's Game of Thrones red wedding stuff.
Yes.
Now, people were like, well, I mean, how come Colin Trevorrow didn't want to do episode 9? Would you? No. Hey, Colin, here, I passed the baton on to you. By the way, I killed the bad guy, the cool, up-and-coming, the prospective cool character. Oh, yeah, and Luke Skywalker. No wonder Colin Trevorrow left.
Oh God, I see. This is what I don't understand. Like, how did they not? I would love to hear Kathleen Kennedy's rationale in not having a George Lucas-esque person who's going to see the big picture.
Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Hopefully that's
Dave
what
Filoni.
I think Favreau and Filoni should go in that direction, or maybe she just goes with Filoni.
I mean,
and to say to Jon Favreau, listen, we're putting a lot of pressure on you. You're a Mando guy, and Mando's awesome. And from Mando is now springing, a Book of Boba Fett. There's a Ahsoka. There's this. There's that. But Filoni might be the guy to oversee everything.
I think he should be the heir apparent to George Lucas. It seems like that.
So does George. At this point, George calls Dave Filoni his son. He has. He's like, this is the guy. This is my project. This guy, I taught this guy everything I know, and he remembered it and does it.
Yeah.
It's not just that he was sitting at the table. It's that Dave Filoni is, no. That's not how Star Wars works. Because Dave Filoni's thinking, that's not what George Lucas would do in Star Wars. And I love that. And who could argue with the success of the first 2 seasons of the Mandalorian? Book of Boba Fett, some people, crybabies to me. Book of Boba Fett was great, and so was Obi-Wan Kenobi. But regardless, all Star Wars fans, I'm pretty sure, are unified about the first 2 seasons of Mando.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think that, again, I don't know what she was thinking when she didn't have someone, we're going to paint this big picture and then have each filmmaker paint the details of that, so that how do we get from A to Z in these 3 films, and then collaborating with each of the writers and directors on how to tell this story, so that everything is set up, that JJ sets everything up for Rian, and then Rian sets everything up for Colin, that like, okay, Colin has an idea for an ending, this is how JJ's gonna tell it in between, and then it's up to Ron. This is like why I think so many people have a problem with The Last Jedi, is it's supposed to be the keystone of that trilogy. It's very important because it's Act 2, and Act 2 sets up for resolution in Act 3. Like, that's, you have to look at the trilogy as an act.
I said this to you before. It felt like Rian Johnson, my one criticism was that it felt like he was making the 3rd act in this trilogy. Someone needed to tell Rian, like, hey, this is a great story, and you've got great ideas. Great characters, great, imagination, but this is the 2nd act. And I feel like he went out there and just decided, I'm making the 3rd act. Whether people like it or not, this is my big Star Wars movie, and I'm doing it. I'm blowing up who I want to blow up. I'm killing who I want to kill.
Well, with that point, I once watched like a 5-hour deconstruction of The Last Jedi once, and the guy keeps playing sound clips of Rian Johnson with like Mark Hamill like looking disgusted, and it's like, I'm going to subvert the audience expectations.
I know.
I'm subverting the audience's expectations.
That got him into a lot of trouble. I'm going to subvert. He should have never used that word.
There's a difference between a plot twist.
He messed up. Sometimes words matter. If he didn't say subvert, if he said, I just want to bring in something new to the Star Wars galaxy, then I think people would not be nearly as up in arms. But words matter, and when you say something like subvert, that has a negative connotation to it.
I will stand by this.
But you're sitting. Whoa. That's called Sith humor, baby. Okay? That's called some good. He goes, I'm going to stand by this. And I'm like, but you're sitting. I mean, ever notice how you can drive on the parkway, you can't drive on the parkway?
Park on a driveway.
Yeah, exactly what he said. I mean, have you ever been in a library and some library? Shh. I'm like, I'll tell you what. You shush me one more time, I'm gonna take a baseball bat to your head.
All right, maybe the mic is convincing your neighbors that you are losing.
No, I'm a comedian. It's called Sith humor, baby. Hey, you ever notice, on the airline that the snacks. Like the peanuts, for instance. No one's ever thought of this one before, but they give you a peanut bag, and there's like 2 peanuts in it. You're all like, this ain't a lot of peanuts. So you know what I did? I had some dynamite strapped to my chest. I exploded. It took the whole goddamn plane down. 346 dead people. Hey, Darth Vader, little Sith humor for you. That's all this is, a little Sith humor. Yeah, you ever go to a family reunion? Right? You're at a family reunion, and people are passing, Thanksgiving. Hey, here's the turkey, here's the gravy. Hey, Dave, remember that one time you spilled the gravy all over the dog at Thanksgiving when you were 6 years old? Hey, yeah. You know what, Wally? You remember the fact that for the last 35 goddamn Thanksgivings, I've had to hear that story? Boom! 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 Boom!
You just referred to your brother as Ted Kaczynski, and now you want to go Chris Benoit on your whole family.
All right, you know what? Sith Comedy hour's over. I'm Darth Vader. Sith Comedy. Good night, everybody.
So what I was going to say is, when it comes to Star Wars, everything has to be cut and dry. And there's a difference between a plot twist.
That was interesting. Why'd you just pause right there? It was like a droid had malfunctioned. I was watching you.
I was trying to articulate my point so that I wouldn't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, because it seemed like you were upset. Go ahead.
subverting the audience expectations is just turning everything on its head, right? With Star Wars, the whole point of the series is a lot of it's based on Jungian archetypes. Like, it's classic storytelling.
Right.
There's a protagonist. He has to, like...
Hero's journey.
The hero's journey.
Mythology.
Like, there's so much...
Faith in your friends.
Tragic, epic hero.
Family ties.
Like, there's all of those
Good versus
things.
evil.
Yes. So
nature versus technology.
Yes.
Democracy versus dictatorship. Listen, the reason why Star Wars is great is there's a lot of themes. It's way more filled with themes than people realize, especially the Star Wars haters. They always think of it as a stupid kids movie when it's not. Their imaginations are a stupid kids movie.
So, okay. There's a difference between Vader, like the plot twist of Vader being the father, and then making old man Luke a cynical jerk. A curmudgeon, if you will. Because even Yoda, after being the Grandmaster...
Even Yoda was upset at
like,
him.
his entire order was destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
He was forced into exile in the swamp, and he still was like, I'm Yoda.
Yeah, he was cool.
He was cool.
He was having fun.
He was enjoying retirement.
He basically pulled like a Johnny Knoxville when Johnny Knoxville like gets dressed up as a grandpa. You know, when Luke first got to Dagobah.
He was playing dumb.
And he's making himself out to look old and stupid, and that he didn't know he knew what a breadstick was, and he knew what a little light flashlight. What is this? What is this? He's like so stupid. It was like the Jackass thing where the old man goes in the convenience store.
Yeah,
remember, he starts shoplifting because he's old and stupid.
Plain dumb.
It was great.
But
hey, listen, we can't bash. I'm not always. I don't want to always bash.
But
episode
I
8.
think this is what's driving what we were going to talk about next.
Okay, go ahead.
With John Boyega.
What did he say?
Well,
Johnny B's in the news all the time these days. I love John Boyega. I do. I'm a fan. I loved Finn. I thought Finn, especially episode 7, was so great.
He claimed that JJ was going to make him force sensitive, and that
I believe that.
And you were saying last week about how your version of episode 9 should have involved Luke training.
I don't want to do it every week because then the Yaddle heads will get mad at us. But very simple, real speed fast this time. Episode 8. Keep the movie exactly the same, only simply when Luke drops to the rocks after the Force hologram thing with Kylo Ren, when he drops to the rocks, he doesn't die. He stays alive. That's your cliffhanger. Episode 9, Finn on the Millennium Falcon races to Octu, saves Luke, and then it's Luke and Finn, and that's the voyage for episode 9 over here, and Rey and Kylo can do their thing over there. Keep both movies relatively the same. But yes, then it would have captured, it would have maximized Finn. It would have made Finn a Skywalker or a Jedi. And Luke then, his portrayal in Rian Johnson's movie wouldn't have been terrible because, like I said, if you're getting kindly Obi-Wan Kenobi-esque Luke Skywalker in episode 9, then he's not repetitive in episode 9. If he's kindly old, happy, positive Luke Skywalker in episode 8... then by the time you got to episode 9, for my theory, he'd be the same guy, and you'd be like, oh, this is too much. Come on, stop it with this already. But to your point.
The movie was supposed to be the keystone of the trilogy, and I think John Boyega, I'll read between the lines and infer what he was saying, is that Rian Johnson did nothing with his character and left J.J. Abrams or Colin having to figure out something with this guy.
Having to scramble.
Because remember, it wasn't him that went after Lando. Or wait. I'm trying to remember. They all go after Lando. But it could have been him and Lando forming some kind of relationship and him teaching him how to be a scoundrel. Because there are no scoundrels. Like, the whole thing is there's a princess, a pirate, and a farm boy.
Poe was supposed to be a scoundrel.
I thought he was supposed to be like the good soldier.
No, Poe started as he was going to be the Han Solo. They've even said that. Lawrence Kasdan, who co-wrote The Force Awakens with JJ, said we wanted another Han Solo type. Hotshot, pilot, cocky Han Solo.
I get that to a certain extent. But
Poe is almost a hybrid of both Han and Luke to me in some ways, because there is a cockiness and a belief in Han, but he doesn't have that. Han can be a bit of a prick, and Luke is sweet, and Poe, I think, at the end of the day, is kind of a sweet boy as well.
I thought he's supposed to be the one that takes over for Leia. Like, the whole point was...
Yeah, it's possible that does happen.
Was supposed to be that each character was supposed to pick up...
We're seeing that too much, though. We don't always need to see the baton, be perfectly passed down.
I'm not saying, but...
Seen in Marvel. Now we're going to see in Star Wars. We're going to see everything.
No, but that's kind of the point, is that Finn didn't really have any kind of character development. They set him up that he was this brainwashed stormtrooper. I thought they said...
Hold on. I got some Sith humor.
Okay.
Hey, what do you call an Imperial soldier who's got to defecate? Stormtrooper. I'm Darth David. This has been a little Sith humor for you. Good night, everybody. I think I've got something. I mean, someone call Simon Cowell, show them these clips, and say, has there ever been a Sith comic on America's Got Talent? I'm thinking not. I'm thinking I got something here.
Maybe you should work on a Tight 5 and do it at these comic cons.
What is Tight 5? What is that?
Like 5 minutes of Sith humor stand-up.
Oh, no. That's not how Darth David works. You say something stupid, and it gives me an idea.
Okay.
And then I say something even stupider.
Okay.
But, I have the razzle-dazzle Sith charm. And that's why my thing comes out as a great comedy album.
Fine.
+5 for me, -5 for you. Let's go.
Okay.
So John Boyega said what? What did he say?
What did he say?
What did he say? He said something about, I wish Colin Trevorrow made episode 9 or something like that.
It was, according to John Boyega, J.J. Abrams was really focused on making Finn force sensitive. Talking to MTV's Josh Horowitz. Boyega said it was a discussion from, 8 that was kind of brewing. No, it's 7. It was kind of brewing because you don't know which way it was going to go, right? And then in 8, it went in another direction. He further elaborated by saying, but obviously with the different creative differences in the middle and then getting to the 3rd, it's kind of like he still wanted to, just force it in there, just squeeze it in there.
Yeah. I mean, they never capitalized on it. Let's be honest. I mean, all you have to do is watch the movies. And a guy should be doing this, and something floats to his hand. He goes, whoa, what the hell happened there? Like, come on.
I think
there were chances.
I think it would have been cool to see the dichotomy between Rey, who's the Force Wonderkin, who can just do things and master the Force like this, and then watch Finn struggle. And then,
that's true.
Then there's some...
Because there's all levels of athletes, and you'd imagine there's all levels of Jedi. If you're a Jedi, you're still great. That's not the point. But when you are when you're on like a Luke Skywalker level, Anakin Skywalker level, and possibly Rey level, it's like you are Jordan. You're LeBron. You're Patrick Mahomes. You can do things that even the other really good players can't do.
So he's like, to watch him struggle as like Luke's training both of them and she's just excelling and he's kind of starting to get it. There's interpersonal there's conflict now because it was obvious in episode 7 that Finn was attracted to Rey. That there was some kind of,
I didn't know that.
That's what I kind of thought. That there was...
I mean, he did ask if she had a boyfriend. Now it's all making sense.
And they kind of did...
Boyfriend, cute boyfriend?
They didn't kind of do anything.
See, I thought they were just happy Jedi kids who were just feeling out their Jedi-ness together at the exact same time. I didn't necessarily see the lovebirds as much, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't be opposed.
And then you have inner conflict with Finn because now he's jealous of the woman he likes because he wants to be a good Jedi now too, and he wants to impress Luke because Luke.
No. Now you're turning Finn bad. Stop.
No, that's But then there's the temptation that like what Luke had with the dark side.
I'm done.
Okay.
But I have something left.
Okay.
Well, we have three things. You need to do a Star Wars cage match.
Sure.
We have to discuss Andor for a second, but since you just brought up Luke, I have a way to do episodes 10, 11, and 12 right here, right now.
Okay.
Right here, right now.
Okay.
So, Luke Skywalker. We're all upset about Luke Skywalker since we wanted more Luke, better Luke. Would you have a problem with this? We're going to do episodes 10, 11, and 12. Oh! You didn't know that one? Put your phone down.
I'm looking something up.
Oh my God.
Would you go on?
Well, because this is important. This is This is a pure Darth David.
Okay.
Free for Disney Plus, free for the Lucasfilm Story Group. At some point, you may want to consider employing me because I've given you like 4 or 5 golden ideas that would work as movies and TV series.
All right. So what?
Be honest, that's true.
What is your idea for Rian?
We're doing episodes 10, 11, 12.
Okay, with Rian Johnson's trilogy.
No.
Why don't you throw it?
We're not doing any of that.
Because apparently he's saying
we're going to get responsible people, and we might even bring special consultant for all 3 films, George Lucas, because we want George to tie everything together. But that's beside the point. Those are the details. This is the story. Dark side. Dark side can sustain people's lives unnaturally. Cloning in Star Wars, it's there. DNA and science in Star Wars, it's there. Black magic in Star Wars, Clone Wars episodes, it's there. We take everything. We take the DNA. We take the science. We take the technology. We take the black magic, the witches. We take the dark side. We literally take all of it. And we bring back Luke Skywalker as your baddie. The new Emperor, Luke Mother effing Skywalker.
Is he a young?
No, it would be Mark Hamill right now because we feel bad for Mark. No, stop it with the CGI. Mark Hamill's still alive. Give him some jobs. No, we put the beard back on Mark. We get everything going, and Mark Hamill is the baddie. What then is the what do they call that again in movies? You know, the MacGuffin or whatever.
Yeah, the MacGuffin.
Okay, what's the MacGuffin? It's Luke Skywalker again. But unlike last time where it was not well defined, who is Luke Skywalker? That's why they had a problem. So we can do 10, 11, and 12 with we start Luke bad, and it's the ultimate, it'll be a 3-movie arc to save Luke's soul. Get proper Jedi Master Luke Skywalker back before he destroys the galaxy. Come on. Come on.
Maybe.
It's a way to do 10, 11, and 12. We were always told there were 12 Star Wars movies.
Were they?
Yeah,
Really?
they were probably lying to us at the end of the day, but still, that's what they told us.
Well, it's kind of hard now to do another 10 because the whole point of these episodes is to follow this one family, and now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Luke Skywalker, the guy who's in that family, who's going to be the star in these 3 movies as the bad guy.
Let's dissect.
Basically, new Vader. Think of it like that. By the end of Return of the Jedi, Luke got Vader back to being good. That's the new story.
So, who clones Luke? Why do they clone Luke? Like, you have to ask all these questions. No one's.
Who cares?
No one's just going to accept that Luke is alive. B,
Rey needs help.
Okay.
Setting up the Jedi Temple. And someone says, there's a cloning machine over here, and since you were the last person to talk to Luke Skywalker, I guess C-3PO is doing this. He goes, since you were the last person to talk to Master Luke, and you have his lightsaber, and you share some same things, if you get some blood and use a witchcraft, and then with the DNA, then we filter it through a machine, a cloning machine, it's possible to reinvent Luke Skywalker. Because what they're doing is unnatural, that's why he comes back bad. See, you can bring Luke back. The person had goodness in their heart. I'm bringing back good Luke, Maybe all kinds of awfulness is going. We need some help. Let's get Luke Skywalker back. But that's what happens. When they bring him back, he's bad.
Like a Frankenstein monster type of scenario.
Nah, I'm just seeing Red Eyes Luke Skywalker in black. Maybe some lightning.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a yes. I know Jedi Jared very well. He's wishy-washy. When he says I don't know, that's like, great idea, Dave, man. Plus 15 for me, minus 15 for you.
Of course.
Real quick, Andor, September 21st. The countdown clock has begun. They released some new trailers, some new sizzle reels. Go check that out on the Star Wars YouTube page.
They still postponed the Bad Batch season 2, correct?
Yes, I believe so. But Andor, September 21st, 3-episode debut.
Yes.
Very excited for that. Are you excited? I'm gaining excitement with every day.
Yeah, I am. Of course I am.
Good. Star Wars cage match.
Yes.
And then we retire.
Okay. Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. So, someone's very much into the Clone Wars, I can see, but she did make her appearance in The Mandalorian season 2, so okay.
Same person voiced her and played her in the series.
That's right.
Katie Sackhoff. Versus Zori Bliss.
Zori Bliss. Remind me who Zori Bliss is. You are so steeped in Clone Wars.
No, this isn't Clone Wars. She's the Poe's love interest in episode 9.
Oh, that girl. Okay, I actually forgot it.
Yeah,
I was ready to kill you.
That's why I had to look it up.
I was ready to kill you.
Because
you know me. I don't want deep Star Wars cage matches. I'll allow Rebels and Clone Wars, but I'm not going to be having any kind of video game characters.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Well, Bo-Katan. I mean, I'm sorry. I know usually I give a long, well-rounded answer, but what the hell did Zori even do?
I know.
Another one. You bring her in, you put a cool mask on, cool outfit, cool gun. And then, not really much anything, really.
I think it was
nothing.
I think it was just an excuse for J.J. Abrams to put Kerry Russell in a movie.
Okay, well.
Because he did that.
Sucky character. So this is rather easy.
I know.
Bo-Katan for Darth David. Jedi.
I'm going to go with Bo-Katan.
Oh my God. Our first ever agreement.
I have to agree. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me just tell you. In the future, when we're so easily agreeing on this, it's a bad cage match, and that's your fault. I am responsible for every piece of show prep of this goddamn show. He's responsible for one thing, the cage match. And you gave us Zori Bliss today? Yaddle heads hate you. At some point, even though you're Jedi Jared and I'm Darth David, I'm becoming the good guy, I feel. Although a couple of Yaddle fans did tell me, Yaddlehead said, you do yell at him and are very, very tough on him. I go, do you listen to the things that come out of his mouth?
Most of them are right.
Do you see that brain of his? Zori Bliss in a Star Wars cage match? This is like a UFC pay-per-view. You gotta.
Okay.
You want people putting $50.
It's hard.
No one's gonna put $50 for Zori Bliss versus Bo-Katan.
Well, I can't. I wanted to have someone similar, and you can't put even the same on Captain Phasma because she was fucking useless too.
No, but at least a little more iconic.
I mean, she was supposed to be the big toy.
Yeah.
And
as discussed on Yaddle Chattle 8 minutes ago by me. Well, what were you not here?
Phasma was. Well, no, you mentioned that you killed her off, but you didn't mention that she was.
I said new Boba Fett. I said she was supposed to be the cool new character, the new Boba Fett.
The new toy. It was supposed to be a toy. At any rate, thank you for watching Yaddle Chattle today.
And listening.
Yes,
we do put these shows on YouTube, one camera shots. Coke Logic has said he's going to be our editor and our producer. Since I told him he has the job, he's been MIA.
It is,
which is typical in my universe.
Well, I'm here. I was relatively on time today. Anyway, you can watch us on YouTube at Eastside Dave TV. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are found on the Watchers feed / Yaddle Chattle. Check out eastsidedavecountry.com. Like and subscribe. Maybe leave a review. If you're a Sith, leave a funny review. If you're a Jedi, Just compliment Dave.
That's appreciative.
Just
okay.
compliment Dave.
Listen, Yaddle Chattle will be back next week, baby. Lots of good things in the Star Wars galaxy, and/or right here. It's on the doorsteps. I'm pretty damn excited. All these docs have been great.
Yeah.
The Icons Unearthed has been wonderful. I still love The Light and Magic, though, so much. I've watched it 3 times from beginning to end. But I've also watched random episodes 5 and 6 that I really like. I've watched those at least 6 or 7 times. Not kidding.
Okay.
Regardless,
Thank you, everybody.
come back here to listen to your Yaddle Chattle. He's Jedi Jared. I'm Darth David. And good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.